This is all of the earliest footage we have of all of Palworld's currently missing content, and as it turns out, there's even more of it than we thought. Way more pals, more gameplay features, but also mechanics we're likely never going to see. So lots more to talk about in this video, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. Team up with your friends and dive right in as the ultimate renegade in Hawked, a brand new online extraction shooter available on PC, PlayStation and Xbox. Also big shout out to the team for sponsoring today's video. But you can play solo or with a squad of up to 3 players and take part in epic PvP VE battles, explore the mysteries of the lush and vibrant exile, and uncover hidden treasures to get insane new powers. There's lots of playstyles you can create, combine exo and ward gear, artifacts and boosters into the ultimate combat loadout, with many more items and other rewards coming up each season. But the game is set to have its launch on both PC, PlayStation and Xbox starting February 15. Also bonus for PlayStation users, you don't even need to have a PS Plus subscription to get to play online, but if you do have one, there's this exclusive PS Plus pack that you'll get. Plus, it's totally worth it to drop in right now as you can unlock exclusive in-game items during its new Twitch Drops campaign, lasting from February 15 all the way to March 7th. So make sure you check out Hawked using the links below and get a chance to win this massive giveaway up right now on the Hawked website, including a high-spec PC, PlayStation and Xbox consoles, as well as these really awesome custom controllers. Again, huge shout out for the sponsorship to the Hawked team, and now back to the video. Anyway, Pocket Pair has been making some interesting changes behind the scenes to some of the Datamine creature models. We've talked about a few of them before. Well, it seems that there are way more, at least in the game files and also from some of the old trailers, and fans already discovered about 6 or 7 of them currently missing from the game, with possibly way more coming up. But at least one of them went through some internal changes, and this includes Boltmane. You can also use mods, by the way, to check this one out. But yeah, essentially this was kind of already falling into that lawsuit territory with a pretty uncanny resemblance to Luxray. So obviously they changed that a little bit, and now it looks a little bit more distinct, but still maybe not completely onto the side that kind of prevents any issues with copyright and whatnot. But obviously it might also imply that the creature will no longer be in the electric category, maybe change to the fire one, as now it kind of doesn't make any sense with the way the game files handles it. But there have been others in there in both the old and some of the new trailers, especially after 2022, when we already know that the game transitioned from Unity to Unreal Engine. So some of these creatures we might never get to see, especially since yeah, the game was pretty much reworked from the ground up when they transitioned from Unity to Unreal Engine, but some of them have a very strong chance to still do, as they are present in some of the new trailers. So especially this massive whale right here, this was one of the most epic scenes in my opinion when I first saw it. And it, yeah, just shows this absolutely massive pal that seems completely rideable both by you but also by some of your other pals, maybe at the same time, or maybe this was a story moment that they wanted to show. In any case, this was back when they were still developing the game in Unity, and then they had a completely different vision. Like, there were supposed to be more of these enemy hubs, there were supposed to be destroyable buildings and all of that kind of stuff. So even the city right here looked absolutely stunning, but it might not be something we will get to see anytime soon, at least not in this version of the game. Now, there have been other similar instances out there, like for example, there's this currently unreleased flying mount in one of these old shots. Kind of reminds me a bit of Reshiram, but of course also with some distinctive features of its own, especially on the tail. It looks distinctive enough, but also slightly similar to that, I guess. And overall, its body, the color scheme, and the way it just flies kind of looks like that. So obviously there are some similarities in there, as it is with some of the other currently released pals as well. And probably my favorite is this very unfortunately low resolution shot of what appears to be some kind of serpent slash dragon flying in the distance. So this was in the Unity trailer. It does seem to feature a pair of arms, that big mane over there, as well as what I initially thought was almost like a wolf head. And I thought that those spikes at the top were actually its ears, but actually they seem to be a pair of spikes at the top of its nose almost. So we do see almost the same outline in one of the newish trailers that was already in the Unreal Engine, with of course the same seemingly creature looming over our character player right here, seemingly at the top of a mountain during a severe snowstorm. So this might be something that the team still works upon. It could definitely fit that legendary dragon sort of theme over there, and maybe be one of those creatures we can get via one of the new boss fights. I would very much love to see this and capture it to make it my own. Now, as far as other missing features, we have quite a few from the full game, and of course we do have a fight against Dragon's Trophy in one of the old trailers. I believe that this was from the Future Games show back in 2022, when they did feature a fight against Dragon's Trophy, and we can see him actually using the Dragon Meteor, which is one of the abilities that Jet Dragon also uses, but a number of other dragon creatures do the same. So the Lord of the Darkness, for some reason, whoever fought this creature in this footage thought it was appropriate to go with a level 1 Anubis, but I mean, I'm going to appreciate their effort nonetheless. It does seem that it's going to be one of the creatures that will indeed get at some point a release. I think that this also can stand on its own, and plus we've also seen it in the PvP arena footage, also within the same trailer, and even more so, you can also play around with mods and activate this in game as a playable, or well, usable pal at the very least. Good to note is that none of these spells currently available, the Mew 3 clone, the Dragon's Trophy, and Boltmane, actually come with additional unlockable skills. You can teach them from skill fruits or use them in breeding and actually get new skills on them if you can, but usually if you level them up, they aren't going to gain anything, and obviously their stats aren't going to be great either, since they don't seem to be like on their own category. But besides that, I did fiddle around with these creatures in the game files, and I did notice that you can breed them with one another. For example, I combined the Dragon's Trophy with that Mew 3 sort of clone, and what it ended up doing was giving me a Blazamut. So maybe they still have internal numbers, but it's not like completely available right now in the PAL deck. Interesting to note is that the company's CEO only considered Palworld to be about 60% complete at the time early access came out, so a few weeks ago, but ever since then they've been pretty much on a hiring spree, and even posted on their social media that they are in a desperate need of more developers to increase the team size and obviously bring all of the features that they have planned in the early access roadmap. And it seems that some of their primary concerns right now, besides generally adding new pals and boss encounters, is also how they will end up implementing that PvP. We have seen a bit of it in the PvP arena that has been featured in one of the early trailers, and it kind of gives us an idea of what PAL fights will look like when it comes to at least the PvP arena. So maybe 3 versus 3 or team combos, maybe that could be something we will see. I would definitely love some team combos over there when it comes to fighting, as most of it right now only goes 1 by 1, so 1 versus 1 is what we typically have. Also, more PAL interactions and gameplay features. For example, we've seen quite a number of shots with dire halls dragging carts and pulling on carts, almost like using horses from Red Dead Redemption 2, but that could be a good feature to transport large numbers of items when their weight greatly exceeds your carry capacity. Maybe this will come back at a later date. We've also seen fishing, and a very interesting take on fishing too, like for example using a jolt hog to electrify the water and pretty much make everything below come to the surface, and of course make fishing a lot easier, though I'm not exactly sure for what else you would need a pangolin, unless you would probably add it to a meal. But obviously this was in the old trailers and likely scrapped or will suffer at least some changes. We've seen more interactions. For example, in the old trailers, Hangyu and Tifant were actually team tagging to water some of these crops, and this is something that doesn't exist in the game right now. You're not gonna see any interactions between different kinds of pals while they are in your base, at least not to the extent that we've seen right here. This could have definitely been nice, but I wouldn't bet on it anytime soon. And obviously something that we might get to see at some point is more advanced, for example, base building parts and other ways to customize our bases. This is for sure going to happen, maybe even this year. But there were some crazy concepts in some of the old trailers, like for example building a rocket ship for some reason. Maybe different planetary travel or travel to other continents could be a thing in the future, but I wouldn't like bet on it. I think that was just a cool thing that they wanted to show in the trailer when they had absolutely no clear vision of what Palworld would be. They obviously changed a lot since then, and now they have a much more clear vision of what Palworld is: a creature collecting, boss fighting, occasional PvP fighting, survival, crafting game. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but that's basically what Palworld is, and I think that Pocket Pair now sees that a lot more clearly. Anyway, that about covers all of the missing content currently in Palworld, but it's also good to note that fan feedback will also play a major role into which of these features come out first. So it definitely seems that the company is observing user reactions and deciding what to prioritize based on what everyone wants. So maybe like just voice your opinion on their official pages and Twitter accounts and whatnot. This might help a ton with bringing the features that you really want in the game first. But that is pretty much it with the video. Also check out that Hawked game I was talking about. They also have this massive giveaway right now on their website, and you can win some high-end PC, PlayStation and Xbox consoles, as well as these really awesome custom controllers. And I'll see you guys in the next one.